Let me ask you something. When you think about who you are, how certain are you that it's actually true? Not what you have been told, not what you have been repeating all these years, but who you really are, when no one's watching. Because what if the version of you that feels familiar is the very thing that's holding your life in place? I want to talk to one person today, not the loud one, not the one who's constantly chasing motivation. I'm talking to the quiet one, the one who feels tired but is still hopeful, the one who keeps moving forward even when nothing seems to shift. This space, LCF Talks, isn't about hype or loud motivation. It's where we slow down, where we talk about parts of growth people usually skip, the internal stuff, the uncomfortable stuff, and the honest stuff. If you're here, it's probably because you don't feel stuck on the outside, but something deeper feels misaligned. By the end of this conversation, you won't feel pressure to change overnight, but you will understand why efforts hasn't turned into movement and what's quietly standing in the way. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about seeing yourself clearly for the first time. There was a time in my life when I thought I knew exactly who I was. I had the sentences ready, just like, "This is who I am. I've always been like this. I'm not the person who does that." And I didn't say those things with doubt. I said them with certainty. But slowly, life started resisting me. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how much efforts I put in it, no matter how badly I wanted things to change, they didn't. And that's when it hit me, quietly. I wasn't failing because I lacked discipline. I was failing because I was loyal for an outdated version of myself. Most people never notice this. They just keep pushing harder while staying exactly the same. Now, here's the truth most people avoid sitting with. Your life doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you believe you are. You don't rise to your goals, you fall back to your identity. So, when someone says, "I want confident," but still sees themselves as the quiet one, someone says, "I want freedom," but still identifies as someone who plays it safe. Someone says, "I want change," but still protects the version of themselves that avoids discomfort. Now, no amount of efforts can fix that because every action eventually snaps back to the identity beneath it. That's why changes feel exhausting. You're trying to move forward while dragging an old version of yourself behind you. Here's something most people don't realize: the version of you that feels comfortable is not always the version that's true. Comfort comes from repetition, it comes from being familiar, from being predictable to others and to yourself. And without noticing it, you protect that version. You protect it by saying, "I'm not ready yet. This isn't the right time. That's not for me." But what you are really saying is, "I don't want to betray the identity I have lived with so far." Growth feels like betrayal before it feels like freedom. Let's slow this down. I am not asking you to reinvent yourself. I am not asking you to fake confidence. I am not asking you to become someone else. I am asking you to notice. Notice the sentence you repeat internally. Notice the labels you accepted years ago without questioning. Notice the stories you tell about why you cannot. Not to judge them, not to fight them, but just to see them. Because the moment you see them clearly, they loosen their grip. You don't need a new personality. You need permission to outgrow the old one. Here's the quiet truth: you are not broken, you are not lazy, and you are definitely not behind. You are just operating from an identity that was built for a different season of your life. And seasons end, even the comfortable ones. The discomfort you feel right now isn't a warning, it's an invitation. An invitation to stop asking why this isn't working for you right now and start asking, who am I becoming now? That question changes everything. If this conversation put words to something you have been feeling but couldn't explain, sit with it. You don't need to rush into action. Clarity comes before moment. And if you want more conversation like this, slow, honest, and grounded, this is what LCF Talks is here for. You're welcome to subscribe, like, and share, not for motivation but for alignment. We'll keep exploring these spaces together.